Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Grand Tactician, the Civil War. Once more, we're in the battle playlist for the Union campaign, where we have the Department of the Ohio going against the Army of Virginia, the Army of the Peninsula, and the Army of the Northwest. It will be slightly outnumbered by about 4,000 men, but we're going to hope that our rifled muskets here, and I know this one has rifled muskets, is enough to keep the balance of power. Also, the enemy will be arriving piecemeal. If we are aggressive enough, we may be able to engage the enemy before their reinforcements arrive. Though this is General McClellan, and he hasn't been the best in this campaign at being punctual on attacking the enemy. So there's a decent possibility we will not actually get engaged the enemy before his reinforcements arrive. Most of your morale shocks are suffered from flanking fire, artillery canister fire, and from being engaged in hand-to-hand combat with a determined and well-positioned enemy. Well, two of those things, well, one of those things is reasonably easy to do. Artillery's, it depends on the circumstance. And hand-to-hand combat's usually just a mistake. Unless it's like artillery beating up cannons or something. Our scouts report the enemy is near Winchester, Virginia. Our army is to prepare for battle. We are facing the Army of the Peninsula under the command of James C. Tappan with a strength of 16 guns. The scout report's not particularly great today. The enemy army is green, and their morale report is confident. Reports indicate their supply situation is outstanding. The supply state of our army is outstanding. They, of course, hold the objective. And we are but one army. So down the road we will be going. We will go ahead and detach the cavalry. And I think that's all we're going to do. So we're going to hit play. We're going to tell these guys to move up at least as far as the town. And the cav to move up, again, about as far as the town to start. I suspect they're behind the town, or in the town. And we do have fog of war, so as far as I know, they've decided not to actually engage with much, because they only had to have one of their army units actually stick the fight. And we did get the scouting report for the little one. So we think they have a lot of troops. But that's a think, not a reality. In fact, the scouting reports report the opposite, so... Which is right, my beliefs or the scouting reports? Okay, the in-map scouting reports is telling us they've got 18,000 men. They do have reinforcements coming in, and they do apparently have higher... Okay, so it's counting minor defeat, even though we technically have a slight morale advantage. That's fine. Probably because they have reinforcements on the way.
Save your water for when the shooting starts.
So we're going to find out where they are. Yeah, I suspect they're in the town of Winchester. But to be fair, we actually got them caught up between the Union River, yes. Thinking, isn't that the way to the Union side? And it's like, yes, it is. But you're coming up from Virginia because McClellan came in from West Virginia. Okay, we haven't spotted them yet. We're going to put you on invade and push you a little bit farther in to do reconnaissance. Theory had a 12-hour gap before the second batch comes. We want to ideally engage and heavily pressure the first one before the second one starts rolling in. So the question is, are they in the town or are they just defending the hill? Wouldn't necessarily blame them if they were only defending the hill. Weren't you supposed to move over the entire army? You see, like, one unit back here just not moving? Okay. Okay, so there's the Confederates in a trench line. For whatever reason, 5th Brigade didn't move, so we're going to be either waiting for 5th Brigade to move or somewhat delayed. I think the answer is somewhat delayed. I don't want to delay. Now that we know where they are, I don't want to deploy quite that far forward. Yeah, we'll do something like that. A little bit across the river here, but really this is also just getting closer. I get quite a bit closer with everything. Okay, it looks like the order's got in time before we got too close. I believe in theory we probably have a gun range advantage over the Confederates. It looks like they're using bronze cannon, bronze howitzer, whereas we've got rifled cannon, so we should have a slight range advantage. Like I say that, our troops are still going to come under fire first. The moment to reduce the incoming. Go ahead and lay down. And of course, we have Brooks, for whatever reason, didn't deploy with the rest of them, so we're waiting for Brooks to arrive. Okay, there's the orders coming in for them to swap to single line. It'll probably give the generalized advance order. Okay, roughly in position. Check on some skirmishers to try to cover the advance. Roughly in position as well, so we can shake out some skirmishers to cover the advance. A minor defeat is predicted, but we'll see if it actually stays that way once we get into properly attacking. Enemy is expected to receive reinforcements. We'll see if we can do enough damage before the reinforcements arrive. Yes, good old Yankee Doodle. It looks like we're overwhelming their forward left. Well, technically it's the right. Their unit on our left is getting overwhelmed. That was not where I told you to go. You're supposed to be over there. They do have unit initiative on, so it might be some of these units are trying to take their initiative and not following the grand battle plan. Charge the cannon! Right, not the ideal situation, but it'll work. Rated the cavalry for a cannon. The cavalry may reorganize because they were just panicked. Yeah. Limit the cannon up and move it closer. Advancing. Taking advantage of the fact that we've crumpled their left. Minor victory. I suspect this is because, again, I don't think their second army, third army, or whatever hasn't shown up. There's a 12-hour delay, so it might not show up on the first day. Probably show up during the night for the second day. Although at this rate, we'll have control of their, you know, fortifications for the second day. So they'll hopefully be significantly less dug in going forward. Their reinforcements have actually arrived. I think we're on the hill. Hard to confirm that. Yeah, there's definitely an artillery unit on the hill. Feels like there's actually a unit somehow in stealth here. That's getting shot up. It's kind of stopping my guys from rolling up the flank properly. Yeah, there is. There's the enemy's cab. End of day. Okay. Just gonna deploy for the day. Army of the Potomac. Okay. Single line. Just gonna deny them the effective use of their fortifications there. And of course, we nicked one of the enemy's guns, so we've got one of their guns as well. Yeah, fair. We should detach that gun. Stick it in the cover next to our gun. And yeah, suppose for optimal deployment, we are still continuing assault like so. We rolled around the end of the line. may have recovered quite a bit of their morale. Oh, apparently this is an alt history where Ulysses S. Grant is dead. Okay. Well, that would explain why Ulysses S. Grant's command ability is not working super well. Okay. We're going to hit play, and then we're going to see how terrible a position we're now in. It's not quite going according to plan, but it could be going worse. What is our casualty out, casualty in? We're doing 2 to every 1. There's actually the sort of ratio we need to win. Their morale is holding a little bit better than we'd like. we have, with the exception of that gun in the back, chase the rest of the cannon from the field. It's a little bit more work, and we might get them all to go. And then we'll have artillery dominance on the field. Am I actually capturing the hill as I've gone past it? Yep. Some circumstances where you might wish the your infantry would adopt box formation instead of line formation, so that you get more units facing the same frontage, but sometimes you just have to deal. Okay, so because they've held the objective so long, that's why it looks like we're still on minor defeat. I don't think they're going to hold. I think they're going to start falling apart soon. Too much flanking fire carrying up there. Units has caused pretty severe morale hits to their units. We haven't necessarily done as many casualties as we'd like. Which is one reason why it looks like it's going to be a minor defeat. It's probably just going to be a minor victory as a side effect. It is a large... well, it's 3 armies we're facing, right? So... okay, I think that was low artillery, or low ammo on the artillery. Yeah. No, actually, the left unit there. Okay. Okay, now it's a minor victory, and it's probably going to stay a minor victory. I don't think we're going to kill enough to kill or rout enough units to convert this to a major victory. Like, in theory, the only unit that's still holding is the artillery, from what I know. That I detached to. Apple Pie Ridge has been retaken. And again, I think it's only the artillery that they still have mobilized. Oh, I'm apparently wrong, and the reinforcements haven't arrived. I thought where they rallied. Okay, so that's the enemy coming again. We hold the hill.
Keep the cadence, damn you. Keep up. Keep up, man. Don't fall behind. Keep up, man. Don't fall.
Do we have time to reoccupy some of the garrison, the locations over there? That's a good question. The answer is no. For you, because you're so exhausted. Just, actually, you just hold. Stay where you are. Okay, we're moving from one flank to the other. If we can get to hold their breastworks, I think we'll hold. try to keep those units from reorganizing, coming back in. Okay, everything's working out. We've got a couple units running low on ammo, but that's just what we got to deal with. When you're outnumbered, that tends to happen. When you're outnumbered, you tend to run out of ammo. I don't know I should be too worried about Finnegan's detachment. I don't think there's any guns there. Oh no, Finnegan's detachment's running over those guns. No, no. Jeez, that's the guns. Don't have those guns. Okay, I think this is slowly sliding in our direction. We're still sitting at a minor victory. The routes and the losses are slowly starting to catch up the enemy. I think they're trying to rally some places, but I don't see... Ah, they've got a battery coming in. The last army's artillery hasn't arrived. That's why they still sort of have some spine. Like, we haven't lost yet. We haven't had every last unit route. It's like, okay, if you include the artillery, that's far too late to make a difference in the battle. Then yes, that is the case. There's one brigade over there, this brigade over there, that artillery over there. They got an infantry that are trying to mobilize over there. I think that's about it as far as organized resistance goes. So we can definitely flub it and lose the battle, but I think we're going to. exposed to the artillery? It does look like the artillery is definitely firing. I think that's the long-range ammo. That's probably the artillery is not being super effective at this point. We've run out of long-range ammo. Trying to rally. That's one advantage of just simply shooting the enemy units to keep them coming back. Is crippled units don't rally particularly well, so you don't have to keep chasing them off again. Whereas if you just shoot one up with a lot of firepower in a given couple of volleys, they'll sometimes rout because you've broken them from hitting the flank and stuff like that. But once they run away, they're not being flanked, so then they start to rally. Enemy is retreating. Yeah, that was... time is here, yes. And it's still technically a minor victory. Got units attempting to withdraw. Good order. We've only got one cav, so we're not necessarily going to inflict a lot of damage on them. In this final phase. That is a artillery unit with its cannons in tow. Let's tell it it's not allowed to have its cannons anymore. We're gonna take possession of those cannons, yes. There it is. There's the end. I think it's still classed as a minor victory. Even though this is a bigger battle as far as some of our minor victories, but still think it's a minor victory for us. The Army of the Peninsula and its backup has been defeated. The cost of 2,644 casualties, we've managed to inflict an estimated 8,500 casualties. Some of the enemy guns did manage to escape. In the fighting back and forth, apparently we lost a gun. And, well, our cavalry got off a little bit more intact than theirs, but the cavalry, both sides of the cavalry got hit pretty hard. The Battle of Winchester ended on April 24th, 1862 with a Federal minor victory. Own losses is 2,644. And is believed to have lost 850 men, or 8,500 men. National morale drops by 1. Military experience rises by more than 1. Depending how things go, we'll go ahead and take Winchester, which will put even more national morale hit to the Confederacy. This is where the battle video is going to end, so if you're watching on YouTube, there probably will be another part up tomorrow. At this point, we recorded 4 parts, 3 battles, and 1 campaign. We're going to continue to record 1 more campaign, so there'll be at least 2 campaigns. We'll see how many more battles we get. And until then, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.